Hello, welcome to my garden where we're spending a lot of our time nowadays. But despite what seems like ages of the coronavirus, we have actually had a very busy year for the Civic Society. It was our landmark first year as a charitable incorporated organisation, or CIO, which has allowed us to trade and raise funds. And we've done this successfully with our calendars and our DVDs, and as you'll see from the Treasurer's report, we have a healthy balance in the bank account and will remain sustainable despite the coronavirus outbreak. Our efforts in working for the local community have been recognised with an invitation to join the Goole Town Deal Board, where we're sitting alongside MP Andrew Percy, senior figures from the local authority, the local enterprise partnerships, major businesses from the area, and the aim is to negotiate a town deal with government funding of up to £25 million, plus other funding from business and elsewhere. Highlights of our last year have been the calendar competition. The calendar competition and launch was a major focus. We sold out our first 200 calendars and had a further 75 printed, which also sold out, and we made a profit of just over £500. It was also a success in terms of publicity, but both through the Goole Times and social media. And we've had excellent collaboration from Goole Library and the museum. The library sold us the calendars and DVDs and displayed a selection of the winning entries and runners-up for up to 3 months, which helped with the sales campaign. And they're keen, the library's very keen to market anything else that we can come up with to sell, so that's a good stream for us in the future, hopefully. The museum hosted a very successful launch day, attended by the entrants, their families and other local dignitaries. It featured a display of the winning entries, and the museum provided refreshments for the launch. We were very grateful both to the librarian Hayley Nicholson and to our friend Debbie Hardy, the museum curator. Goole in Bloom. Well, the Civic Society joined 26 other organisations in putting together Goole in Bloom's entry for the Yorkshire in Bloom Awards 2019, which resulted in Goole winning a Gold Award. Our contribution, along with the Goole World War I research group, was a signboard and garden outside the station. We also donated picture boards we had of the old Goole street scenes for display on the hull-bound platform of the railway station, and also display stands with some of our books that we put in the ticket office, and these have proved really popular. I was invited to accompany the judges on the tour of the town when they came to judge us for Yorkshire in Bloom, and I also attended the Yorkshire in Bloom Awards ceremony at Yorkwood Racecourse. Following on from this, the Civic Society joined Goole in Bloom, the Lions and others to establish a constituted Friends of Goole Station group with £500 of seed funding from Northern Rail, and I'm currently chair of this group. I'll tell you a little bit more now about the Goole Town Deal Board. The nomination of Goole Civic as Goole as one of 101 towns in the country invited to negotiate a town deal with up to £25 million of government funding is a major boost for the town. A town deal board has been set up to define a vision and strategy for Goole and to produce a town investment plan and town deal proposal. The Civic Society was invited to join the board to provide input on the built heritage aspects, which is an indication of our profile in the town. Others on the board include senior figures from the local authority, 2 local enterprise partnerships, Goole Town Council, Hull and Humber Chamber of Commerce and major businesses including Siemens, ABP, Croda, the Kerfoot Group and Joss Richardson and Sons. The chair is Joseph Richardson and the deputy is Phil Jones, President of Hull and Humber Chamber of Commerce. The first two meetings, one face-to-face, the second one virtual, have been very positive, with lots of enthusiasm, engagement and ideas, particularly from the big business figures. The Civic Society is acting as host for the virtual meetings using Microsoft Teams, which will continue throughout the COVID-19 emergency. We've been assured that the town deal funding will still be available, indeed an important part of rebuilding after the pandemic. Our deadline for submission looks likely to be deferred until October. Planning. The Goole Conservation Area Management and Maintenance Plan, or CAMP, to which the Civic Society contributed, was finally approved by East Riding councillors in February 2020. We look forward to seeing its contents put into action and the conservation areas at-risk status being removed. Prior to that, back in December, we made an official complaint to East Riding Council about lack of protection and enhancement of the conservation area and requested that officers come to Goole to meet us to walk around the conservation area. We had a date in the diary, but this has been postponed because of the coronavirus lockdown. We've objected to ABP's plans to demolish the old Goole shipyard buildings, although demolition would come under permitted development. We applied to Historic England to have the building listed and requested that East Riding Council issue a notice to prevent demolition until this was considered. The Conservation Officer, Steve Devey, also determined that prior approval was required from the Council as information was lacking in how protected species would be dealt with. Unfortunately, Historic England has turned down our listing application, although any further movement has been prevented by the coronavirus measures. We have made our point very clearly to East Riding and ABP and are hoping that the plans may be reconsidered. One brighter note is that work on reinstating the roofline on Chesham House in Hook Road was well underway when we went into lockdown in mid-March after a long campaign by the Civic Society. We continue to lobby for the protection and enhancement of Eyre Street. Development of the Market Hall is likely to feature as part of the town deal proposal, and Town Council and all our East Riding councillors are supportive. We have backed two initiatives by the Town Council, one to re-establish a market and event space in the Market Hall, and the other to establish a twice-weekly open market in the precinct. Both have stalled due to the coronavirus emergency. Following a unanimous vote of the Civic Society at the February 2020 meeting, we are pursuing our application to have the Market Hall designated as an asset of community value. The Civic Society has begun preparations for a blue plaque in Eyre Street to Anne Greaves, a pioneering female quarry owner. It will be erected on the Royal Hotel later in the year whenever we get chance to get out and have a celebration. The Yorkshire and Humber Association of Civic Societies, YACS, celebrated its 20th anniversary in November with a lunch in York, which I attended. I also attended a quarterly meeting in Pontefract and the YACS AGM in Harrogate in January. YACS supported Market Wheaton Civic Society in erecting a blue plaque to a leading woman aeronautical engineer, Hilda Lyon, and I produced an information pamphlet and attended the unveiling. Together for Goole, a group bringing together local charities and facilitated by the Hull and East Yorkshire Smile Foundation, had quite a slow start. However, it's come into its own during the coronavirus emergency, with aid funnelled through the moorlands, which has ramped up meal deliveries and recruited volunteers for shopping and prescription collections. So that's about it for our last year. Focus for 2020-2021, well, apart from getting out again, focus will very much be on the Goole Town deal, the conservation area, the market hall, and continuing with our fundraising projects to help us do more work in the future. Thank you.